Ok, bene, ora avremo la possibilità di intervistare il professor Jim Thompson, tutti conosciuto anche nel nostro paese per essere la persona che ha costruito uno strumento molto importante, la SIS, la scala per l'intensità dei bisogni di sostegno. Ora rivolgerò al professor Thompson un paio di domande relative alla questione della qualità della vita e del sistema dei sostegni a beneficio delle persone con l'autismo. Thank you very much, Jim, for accepting this interview. Just first questions. What do you think about the question of quality of life of people with developmental disability and autism?
Well, people with autism and other developmental disabilities can certainly have a high quality of life. And in my mind, the key to that high quality of life is making sure the right supports are in place. Autism in particular is understood as some difficulties in communication, difficulties in social interaction with others, and often some difficulties in behaviors. And in all three of those areas, we really do know how to support children, both very young children and older children and adults with autism, so that they can be full participants in our schools and our society, and can have a high quality of life for themselves, but also, I believe, enhance the quality of life of others around them and who have the opportunity to get to know them.
Oh, thank you. You know that in Italy, also in Italy, you are very well known because you are the father of support intensity scale. And do you think that also there is important to measure or to evaluate the support needs for people with autism?
Well, yes. So let me say, first of all, if I'm well known in Italy, I'm very happy because I love Italy. So to be well known in Italy and to have made a contribution in some way to that wonderful country is a great honor. But the supports intensity scale is a way to move past simply looking at supports as sort of this ethereal or hard to understand concept, and being able to do an assessment that really identifies people by the intensity of their support needs and the support they need in different areas and aspects of life. And actually, internationally, the field of autism is coming around to a supports concept. The most recent DSM-5, which is considered the most authoritarian basis for diagnosis of disabilities, now specifies that you should classify people with autism by their intensity of support needs, and they suggest 3 classifications. So I think that that's becoming a very good way to understand people with autism. What support do they need? And the scale you mentioned, Luigi, can help foster that understanding.
Thank you very much. So another brief question. Do you think that family can have a very strong impact on programming, planning, and providing supports for people with autism?
Yes, definitely the family is the most important support provider for people with autism. There's nobody else in the world who will ever love an individual as much as their family, or who will know that person as well. So truly strengthening the families and making sure families know how to support their child and can be successful parents and brothers and sisters, that's the most important gift that any sort of service system can provide to a person with autism.
And another very short question about school, the importance of school environment and the teacher in providing the right supports for the right need of supports.
Yes.
What's your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, we have, across the world, been too quick to put children with autism in separate school settings and say, well, this teacher, needs to know this special expertise to teach that child with autism. And it's not that a child should never be removed from a classroom or can't benefit from some sort of individual therapy, but my vision and my goal would be to help general education teachers and provide them the supports they need to help understand how to support a child as much as possible in a general education setting. And the reason I say that is children with autism really do learn from other children. So if you have a child, for instance, who's having difficulty learning language and learning how to speak and is basically nonverbal, if you put that child in a setting with a bunch of other children who are nonverbal, that child's not going to have the good role models and not going to have a language-rich setting. So I like to see every child with autism get at least some opportunities to be educated alongside their general education peers. And my experience has been when supports are planned out well, the other children turn out to be great friends and great supports and really understand a child with autism. Now and then people say, oh, won't the child with autism be bullied or picked on in some ways? And that can happen if you don't have the right supports. But if you plan well, work with the teachers and work with the other children, I find that actually children are very compassionate and are glad to have the child with autism in their classroom.
Thank you very much. The last questions. You know that Milan is a very big city, is one of the capital of the world, and it has a tradition of good services to people with any kinds of vulnerability. Do you have any suggestions to give to our municipality to reorganize the services for people with autism? What are your suggestions about that?
Well, I have been to Milan and I am aware of the reputation, but I don't know the service system so well to offer a specific suggestion. But my observation has been, in most places, build on your strengths, make something stronger, as opposed to having a special service for kids with autism and then a special service for kids with intellectual disability and a special service for kids with physical disability. We do better, I think, when we combine our resources and build as much capacity so that we don't have duplicating services or don't have disability groups sort of competing with each other for what is always going to be finite, limited resources. So I would say make what you have stronger.
Thank you very much, Zane.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Grazie.